Great, thank you. I'm super excited to be able to introduce Zoe today. Zoe is a very bright and very curious sixth grader at Castille, and I have enjoyed being able to bond over our shared interests in math, sports, and music. Each week, I was always excited to hear about how her volleyball games went during the spring and to see what she discovered when working in Python over the course of the week. I am really happy for her to be able to share the project that she's worked really hard on, which is creating a Sudoku game in Python. And I've been consistently impressed each week by the quickness which she's uptaken understanding different concepts in Python, as well as in number logic, as well as being able to balance all the many different activities in both sports and school and music that she does at the same time. So I'll hand over the floor to Zoe now.
I'm sixth grader at Castilleja school. Next slide. A bit about my mentor, Michelle. She just finished her PhD at Castilleja at MIT, and she's been mentoring with Magic since 2013. Her research focuses on developing tissue-responsive biomaterials for innovation. She enjoys reading and baking and likes building cartoons. Next slide. So my project is Sudoku, and Sudoku is a game where you can have no order in the same column, square, where it is a 9x9 grid with 9 big squares that each hold 9 small squares. There's a photo of related options and how a Sudoku grid looks like. And I wanted to do this project because I really love playing Sudoku. I've been playing it for about 5 years, and I want to learn more about how to program Python. And I have finished writing the Sudoku code on Jupyter Labs, but later on I want to advance the game and make it more user-friendly. Next slide, please. So these are some topics and technologies that I learned. If statements, Python, right? If you live else. And I use this for recognizing user input and acting based on what the person wants. For example, if they put beginner, then the code would add a beginner word. And a for loop, this is an example like for numbers in this range. While statements are like, while this condition is met to this, it can be infinite. So I use this in my code so that the code will ask for user input until there are no more empty spaces left. Functions are lines of code grouped together that can be called repeatedly to execute tasks. I also learned dictionaries and lists, which I fundamentally use for storing data. And then Boolean operators. So if a statement is true or false, and like when to use double equal signs and when to use a single sign. And I also learned Python in general, like how to format these parentheses with to how to populate that. And I also learned how to use Jupyter. Next slide, please. So a bit about my magical experience, some highlights were I was really happy when we were able to solve a problem in code. And it was fun to bring all the pieces together and see the final result. Some lessons I learned are like how to make a board in Python and how to incorporate functions into code. Some challenges were like getting user input because the system and Jupyter notebook is a different Python than I was used to. Next slide, please. So these are some photos from the code. They're both functions. The one on the left is to print a board that kind of resembles the level that user put in. And the one on the right is to check the guess so that the person doesn't put the guess in like a place where there's already a member of the row, column, or where there's already Next slide, please. And this is my demo. So this is my code on Jupyter. It's down there. It asks you for what level you want to choose, and then it is the word based on what you asked. And then it'll ask you for the row, the column, and to write your guess between 1 and 9. And up there, you can see that there's already a number there, so guess it's invalid. So I'll ask you again to enter your row and column and your guess between 1 and 9. And then, this time the number wasn't like there wasn't a number in that script, there was a number in the column. So I guess is asking, and this time the guess is valid and it updates the board so that it can finish or keep track. So yeah. Next slide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zoe. That was amazing. I would love to play this game. I'm going to open up to questions if anyone has any questions for Zoe.
Hi, it's Sabrine here. Congratulations on your project and your presentation, Zoe. What I want to know is after you built Sudoku yourself, do you think you got better at playing Sudoku?
Yeah, I think so. To be honest,
Cool.
I haven't played it for a while, so I kind of gained my skills after creating.
Awesome.
I have a question for Zoe. This is Smriti. Wonderful job. I was wondering, I really also enjoyed how you broke down all the computer science concepts and walked us through that. I was wondering, how did you start off with for the different levels? Did you have a completed board? And then, like, where did you actually get those, I guess, puzzles or those instances from? Is it from a book that you worked through before, or?
Well, yeah, I actually searched for some boards and kind of found out like how many numbers there should be on the board and how many spaces should be empty, and then I took inspiration on what I found online.
Wow, very, very cool. I feel like it must be hard to know, like, at least how many numbers need to be there for it to be possible and stuff. Very cool project.
I just had a question, and I can't remember from when we started. Did you set out to make a Sudoku game, or did it evolve and you kind of worked on that with your mentor? Where did the inspiration come from?
Well, it was always a Sudoku game. At the beginning, I was going to do set of numbers. I was going to do music notes, but instead I decided to do just regular Sudoku.
That's the next step.
Yeah, the next.
I have a question. So I'm curious about what your coding background was in terms of languages before this, and how did you choose Python? Was it like a clear winner, or were there lots that you had to think about, choose from?
Well, before this, I had an experience in like Scratch. I never knew Python, but I really was interested in it for like a time, but I didn't know where to start. So this is a great opportunity.
Okay, any other questions for Zoe? All right. Thank you so much, Zoe, for your presentation. That was amazing.